By the beginning of 1975, the dispirited South Vietnamese military suffered military defeat after military defeat without the presence of U.S. and French support. After Congress rejected President Gerald Ford's request for $300 million to supplement aid to South Vietnam, Nguyen Thu resigned from office. So now South Vietnam doesn't even have an official military leader. His power was passed to Dong Van Diem, whose single official act as leader of South Vietnam was to unconditional surrender to North Vietnam on April 30th, 1975. For after the dash, April 30th, 1975, dash, unconditional surrender to North Vietnam. We've talked about this before. No surrender is a good surrender, but with an unconditional surrender, you are giving up all power and all say as to what happens to your country, your people, your resources, everything. So that's the position that the South is in. They have unconditionally surrendered to North Vietnam. With the South Vietnamese surrender, the United States had to hastily evacuate all remaining forces from the country under threat that they could be executed on site by North Vietnamese capturing soldiers. Until the Vietnam War was over, the longest war that the United States has been involved in is finished. And clearly, the Vietnam War ended as a defeat for South Vietnam. But with the United States' goal going into this war being to contain communism, much as it was its goal going into the Korean War, most people consider the Vietnam War to be a defeat for the United States as well. Communism spread from the north to the south. There is no longer a North and South Vietnam as there was. There's just a Vietnam, and the entire country is now communism. So again, most people consider the Vietnam War to be a defeat for the United States as well, as we did not make our goal. For costs for the next two little dashes, the first one we're going to talk about the financial cost, the second one the loss of life. So for the financial cost, that first little dash, $150 billion. The Vietnam War conflict cost the United States approximately $150 billion. For the second dash, as far as loss of life, 58,000 U.S. soldiers killed. The figures are hotly disputed, and in fact, there still remain thousands that are considered to be missing in action who are also presumed dead at this point. But the official figures typically hover around 58,000 American losses in the Vietnam War. Now, when you went to Washington, D.C., hopefully most of you were able to get a good glimpse at the Vietnam War Memorial. The long wall detailing the name of every U.S. soldier who was slain fighting in Vietnam. There's also the statue that's kind of featured in the very middle of the pic collage that is supposed to represent the great diversity of minorities who also kind of served and fought in the Vietnam War as well. And that is it for your notes for this week.